The Black Plague, also known as the bubonic plague, is one of those historical events that sends shivers down our spines as we imagine a world ravaged by disease. And yet, it also laid the foundation for modern medicine, as we know it today. Picture it, the mid-14th century, Europe gripped by fear and uncertainty, thousands falling victim to a mysterious illness that seemed like something out of a particularly horrifying horror movie. But amidst the chaos, this dark chapter in history sparked incredible advancements in medical knowledge and public health that echo through the ages. First up, let's talk about the plague itself. It all kicked off in the 1340s when a nasty little bacteria called Yersinia pestis made its way to Europe, thanks in part to international trade routes and a few very unfortunate rats. Fleas carried the bacteria, and once they hopped off their rodent hosts and onto humans, all hell broke loose. With symptoms ranging from fever to painful swollen lymph nodes, known as buboes, hence the term bubonic. It's no wonder this plague wreaked havoc across the continent. But why, you may ask, should we care about a disease that swept through Europe nearly 700 years ago? Well, for starters, the Black Plague forced society to face some grim realities about health. People were dying left and right, which pushed medical practitioners of the time to reevaluate their understanding of disease. Before the plague, medicine was largely based on theory and classical texts, with little empirical evidence to back up treatments or diagnoses. But with such a massive crisis, doctors had to start observing symptoms in real time and testing their skills against the backdrop of desperation. Here's where things start getting fascinating. The era of medieval medicine, characterized by mystical beliefs and humorous notions such as bad air, miasma, causing illnesses, began to crumble under the weight of reality. Among the consequences of the plague was a growing recognition that diseases were not just mystical punishments, a groundbreaking revelation, to say the least. A handful of brave and forward-thinking doctors began to take note of how infections spread and proposed new ideas about hygiene, sanitation, and the importance of quarantine. Yes, quarantine. The concept may sound familiar to us today, but back then, it was a radical notion. Towns started isolating the sick and attempting to control the spread in ways that were innovative for their time. One significant figure during this tumultuous period was Giovanni Boccaccio, an Italian writer who chronicled the plague in his work, the Decameron. His accounts not only provided personal narratives of suffering and loss, but also highlighted the need for systematic observation and documentation. It's almost like the medieval version of logging, capturing the moments that would shape the future of medicine. This newfound emphasis on observation marked a shift towards a more scientific approach that laid the groundwork for future medical advancements. Another incredible twist in this story is the birth of public health systems. As cities struggled with the overwhelming death toll and the accompanying social chaos, municipal leaders began to implement basic public health measures. They set up quarantine laws, improved urban sanitation, and even took steps to control the rat population. A little too late, but better late than never. These actions formed the basis of public health practices, emphasizing community, responsibility, and intervention in health matters. Fast forward to the 16th and 17th centuries, where the influence of the plague continued to inspire change. The scientific revolution was brewing, shaking hands with the observations made in the wake of the epidemic. Notable figures such as Andreas Vesalius and William Harvey began to challenge long-held beliefs by closely studying human anatomy and circulation. These pioneers departed from the old texts, opting instead for meticulous dissection and observation. They asked questions like, how does the body function, and how do germs interact with our systems? Now we're starting to see the roots of modern medical practices. But wait, there's more. The Black Plague also ignited an increased interest in medical education, with institutions being established to train healthcare professionals rigorously. The emergence of hospitals, yes, the very places we fear being sent to, during this time highlights how the medical community began to take collective responsibility for healthcare. Schools started popping up, creating a new breed of educated physicians who were informed by experience rather than folklore. What a glow up! You might be thinking this sounds pretty serious, but a bit of humor can always peek through the shadows of history. Consider this. In response to the plague, some people believed that carrying certain flowers, like the infamous posies, would ward off the disease, leading to the original flower power. If only someone had handed them a book on germ theory during those times, that would have been a plot twist. As we wade through this plague-ridden historical tale, it becomes apparent that while the Black Plague was undeniably tragic, the aftermath sparked changes that led to improved medical practices. The experiences of that era set humanity on a course toward greater knowledge. The study of epidemiology, advances in surgical practices, and the eventual development of germ theory and the vaccination movement springing up centuries later can all trace their inspiration back to the lessons learned during the epidemic. So here we are, in a world that has made more incredible medical advancements than anyone could have imagined in the wake of the Black Plague. Every time we pull out a tub of hand sanitizer or receive a vaccine, we are dancing on the lessons learned from history's darkest hours. The Black Plague was a cruel teacher, but it pushed society to innovate, adapt, and grow. Who knew that amid the heartache and loss, the seeds for modern medicine were being sown? In conclusion, the story of how the Black Plague shaped modern medicine is nothing short of an epic saga. From the dark, cobweb-laden corners of history to brightly lit hospitals filled with high-tech equipment, this journey reminds us that even in our lowest moments, society can rise to meet the challenges ahead. So, next time you hear about an outbreak, and let's face it, in today's world, this feels like an annual occurrence, remember the lessons from that eerie chapter of history. Let's honor those who suffered and lost by continuing to push the boundaries of knowledge and health, ensuring that the dark shadows of the past light the way toward a healthier tomorrow.